everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome once again to my Hyundai i30N. You'll have seen this car already if you've watched the channel and you watched when we took this to the Nordschleife. However, I kind of noticed that essentially during that video we ended up making it more of a travel vlog than a car review. And to be quite honest with you, I've actually sold this car and it goes tomorrow, so I figured it's as good a time as any to take it out on the road, give you my thoughts on it. Obviously I owned the previous version of this car as well, the Gen 1, so I can tell you what I think of it compared to that. And yeah, hopefully we can have a bit of fun and enjoy ourselves. Sorry about the glasses, by the way, doctor's orders. I've now got to wear glasses occasionally because I've spent my life staring at screens commentating on motor racing, and I've now got square eyes. Actually, I need to correct myself whilst we're waiting because it's not Hyundai anymore, it's Hyundai. I heard it on a radio advert this morning, and apparently you now call it a Hyundai. So this is the Hyundai i30N Drive-N Limited Edition. There we go. But what's this car all about then? So essentially Hyundai released it about September time, there and thereabouts. One of 800 released worldwide, but only one of 75 that is in the UK. So what are the differences then between this car and the one that you can go and buy in the showroom? Well, in terms of performance, there's nothing that's changed essentially. It is all about the trim. The difference between price between this limited one and the one that's in the showroom is about 900 quid, there and thereabouts. So I know it's only trim differences, and some people will say, well, 900 quid, it's not really worth it considering it's only a couple of changes, but being one of 75, I fancied it, to be honest with you. I'm terrible at buying cars. I would be the worst stockbroker you could ever wish to imagine because I'm always buying cars high and I'm always selling them low. And unfortunately, this is no exception to the rule. So I bought this for, what was it, 38,000 list price. And I have just sold it. It goes tomorrow, and I've sold it for 31 after 4 months. Now I own the pre-facelift version of the i30N, which had a manual gearbox. This one has got a DCT, the 8-speed dual clutch transmission gearbox that Hyundai have put in the car. And I have to say, it is wonderful. I love the manual gearbox, and given the choice, I'll always pick it for a driver's car over a dual clutch because it's just more involving. However, I love this when you're driving on the motorway. It's really easy. If you're creeping through traffic, you haven't got to worry about your left foot feeling like it's about to fall off because you're constantly up and down on the clutch all the time. Other areas where they've refined the car also are the suspension. So the original one, I remember it being really crashy when you were driving around town, just really firm. And they've obviously refined it for this one, and it just feels a lot nicer to drive day to day. It's actually quite a relaxing car. I mean, I drove this to the Nordschleife, we did the track day there. It pounded round for a couple of days and was brilliant, and then we drove it home and I wasn't tired at the end of it. It was a really pleasant experience. So in terms of practicality, obviously it's a hot hatchback. It's got 5 doors, it's got a big boot, you've got room in the back for your kids, you can stick a buggy in the back. You could take this car quite easily on a family day out if you wanted to. And then when the mood takes you, when you're on a nice B road on your own, stick it in N or N custom mode, whatever you prefer, and it puts its hand down the front of your trousers and excites you. It's a really, really fun car. You've also got the checkered flag button on the right-hand side of the steering wheel, which is the button that everybody loves in this car because, of course, you push it once and it goes into N mode. Now, that firms everything up. This is the mode that's designed for the track, and you can probably tell by the way the camera is shaking a little bit more, it's also firmed up the suspension. Now, this mode is not really for driving on the road. I can probably last about 5, maybe 10 minutes if I'm really pushing it. But the good thing about the i30N is if I push it again, I've got N custom mode. Now, this is a mode that you can adjust to however you want, hence the name custom. So what I've done is I've got everything set to Sport Plus, so the exhaust tone, the engine power output, etc. It's all on Sport Plus, but the suspension is set to Comfort, which is really nice. So I've got all of the lovely elements of N mode, but I don't end up with my spine going through the top of my head. And of course, now being in M mode, we've opened the valves in the back of the exhaust as well. So this is where the car will start to pop and bang. I know it's childish, and I know that I should probably know better, but it is bloody good fun, those pops and bangs. whilst we're just sort of cruising through a bit of traffic, talk you through the infotainment system and what it's like in terms of the car. And thank God Hyundai have not gone down the same route as so many other different manufacturers, because actually you have physical buttons in this car. Hallelujah. I love the fact that you can just, you know, twiddle a knob and adjust the temperature, or push a button and turn the air conditioning off. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention as well about the trim of the car, it's got an Alcantara steering wheel, which the standard one doesn't have. I don't really like an Alcantara steering wheel because I find it wears horribly and it will bobble up after a few thousand miles. This has done 5,500 miles. It's not as smooth as it was, but it is still quite nice. And it does feel pretty good when you're on a racetrack as well, if you've got a pair of gloves on. Especially, I find it gives a little bit better grip than leather will. Sure, you could argue the interior is perhaps not as well put together as a BMW or a Golf, but it's not exactly like you're slumming it in here. Everything feels very tight. There's no rattles. Plastics are good quality. It doesn't feel like it's made out of old biscuit barrels or anything like that. And I have to say the seats are very comfy. I obviously drove this to and from the Nordschleife, and I suffer from getting a numb in pretty much every car. In this though, normally it comes on after about an hour. I was going for a good 2.5 hours before I was getting a numb bum, so make of that what you will. But now we're sort of getting onto some country roads. This is where the i30N will really begin to come alive. Right, let's go for it. Bit of torque steer when we're accelerating very hard, if I may say so. That's the only thing. God, I love it. Oh, yeah, it's a manual, that's a point. Forgot about that. Traction control kicking in a bit there. That actually brings me on to my next point in this car as well. So it's got an e-diff, an electronic differential. There's no LSD, it's all controlled by the computers in the car. Now, on the pre-facelift version of this car that I had, especially on the Pirelli P0 tyres that this car comes with, wheel hop was terrible. So by that I mean you'd put your foot down and it would go like that, and your bloody moves would start flapping up and down and you think, good God. However, in this facelift model, they must have tuned the tyres and the e-diff to work together a little bit better, because you put your foot down in this and there's no such thing as a hint of wheel hop. It really grips up nicely. It's a really pleasant experience. Hang down into third. Oh, it just grips up so well. Excuse my language. It grips up really well is what I'm trying to say. It is just brilliant, this car. I absolutely love it. Bang, down into third. Oh, hello. Flick it in. I forgot about the GoPro case. It is just a really, really fun car to drive. It is, in my opinion, the perfect hot hatchback. It's just such a nice, rewarding, easy car to drive. It's not going to blow an A45 AMG out of the water. It's not going to be a match for anything that's over 400 horsepower, because of course it's only got 273, but it's enough. All right, let's go for one more pop and bang before we leave the tunnel. I'm such a child. Oh, it is a bloody good fun car, this. I'm really, really going to miss it. I wouldn't be selling it if I didn't need to be honest with you, but, you know, it's one of those things, you can't have every car, and, you know, it is a bit surplus to requirements now with some of the machinery that I've got. Plus, I want to build a race car this year as well. We're going to be building a new rallycross car on the channel in 2023, a new production car for the BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship, a Ford Fiesta that Dad and I are going to be building together. More on that a little bit later. We're also going to be doing some bike-related content, more track days on the channel very soon. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Right, we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining us for this review of the Hyundai i30N Drive-N Limited Edition. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you an insight into what this car is like to drive. There'll be more content coming on the channel. Oh, bugger. No, don't fail like that. Oh. Of all the times for the camera battery to go during the outro is somewhat suboptimal. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you have enjoyed this video as well. Of course, there'll be more content on the channel very, very soon. More cars, more bikes, more builds, more racing, loads of fun stuff that we've got planned throughout 2023. So really looking forward to sharing that with you. In the meantime, take care and I'll see you again very soon.